Why Gen Z will never own a house. 5 years ago, owning a house still felt like a normal life milestone, not a luxury, not a fantasy, just adulthood. You got a stable job, saved for a few years, bought a modest home, and slowly built a life around it. Now, for millions of Gen Z adults across the United States and Europe, the idea of buying a house feels less like a financial goal and more like watching a train leave the station without you. And the uncomfortable part is this: most people still think the problem is coffee, Netflix, or bad spending habits. But the math says otherwise. Imagine a 26-year-old living in Chicago, Manchester, Berlin, or Toronto. The details change. The structure doesn't. They make around $65,000 a year. Sounds decent on paper. After taxes, healthcare, pension contributions, and basic deductions, they bring home roughly $3,800 per month. Again, still sounds manageable until real life starts charging rent. Their apartment costs $1,800 a month. Not luxury, not downtown penthouse pricing, just a clean, safe place in a normal area. Now add a car payment, $420, insurance, another $180, student loan payments, $300, groceries, gas, internet, phone bill, subscriptions, occasional dinners, clothes for work, maybe one short vacation a year. Another $900 to $1,000 disappears quietly. Now look at what's left. Maybe $200, maybe $400 in a good month. And this is where the older generation usually says, well, just save more aggressively. But save what exactly? Because the average starter home in many major cities now costs between $400,000 and $700,000. Even with a modest 10% down payment, you may need $40,000 to $70,000 in cash just to enter the market. Not including closing costs, not including furniture, not including repairs. At $300 saved per month, reaching a $60,000 down payment takes over 16 years. That's assuming home prices stop rising. They usually don't. And this is the part nobody likes discussing honestly. Gen Z didn't just enter an expensive housing market. They entered a fully financialized economy. Homes are no longer just places to live. They are investment vehicles. Corporations buy them. Private equity firms buy them. Airbnb investors buy them. People with existing assets buy second and third properties because their first property already increased in value. Meanwhile, first-time buyers are trying to compete using salary income alone, and salary income is the slowest form of wealth creation in modern economies, especially after inflation, especially after taxes, especially after debt. Because inflation changed something psychologically. Previous generations often used debt to buy assets. Today, many young adults use debt to maintain appearances, not because they're irresponsible, because modern life quietly pressures people into performing stability. Nice apartment, reliable car, good phone, weekend trips, decent clothes, social experiences. Nobody wants to look like they're falling behind, and social media made that pressure constant. A person making $70,000 today often feels poorer than someone making $40,000 20 years ago. Not always because life is objectively worse, but because the standard for looking normal became dramatically more expensive. And most people never notice how dangerous this becomes over time, because lifestyle inflation doesn't feel dramatic. It feels reasonable, a slightly nicer apartment, a newer car because the old one feels embarrassing, food delivery because work is exhausting, buy now, pay later because everybody uses it. Individually, these decisions seem harmless. Collectively, they erase decades of financial flexibility. And housing markets punish delayed entry brutally because while renters are trying to save faster than inflation, Property owners are benefiting from inflation. That's the real divide emerging underneath modern economies, not rich versus poor, asset owners versus non-asset owners. And once you understand that, Gen Z's frustration starts making sense. Many are doing everything they were told to do. Get educated, work hard, build a career, stay employable. But the economic system they entered rewards capital ownership far more than labor. A software engineer earning $90,000 may still struggle to buy property in many cities. Meanwhile, someone who bought a home 15 years ago may have gained hundreds of thousands in equity simply by existing in the right market at the right time. That doesn't mean home ownership is impossible, but it does mean the old formula stopped working, and financially intelligent people are slowly adapting to that reality. They think differently about status, differently about location, differently about time. Some delay expensive cities entirely. Some live with family longer without shame. Some split housing costs aggressively. Some avoid car debt even when they can technically afford it. Not because they're cheap, because they understand one important thing. Every recurring monthly payment steals borrowing power from your future self. Banks don't care how stylish your life looks. They care about debt-to-income ratios, cash flow, down payments, financial margin, and margin is disappearing for millions of young adults before they even realize it mattered. That's why this conversation isn't really about houses. It's about how modern economies quietly change the definition of adulthood. Previous generations often built wealth first and upgraded lifestyle later. Today, many people are pushed into upgrading lifestyle immediately just to participate socially. And by the time they start thinking seriously about ownership, the market already moved again, a little further away, a little more expensive, a little harder to catch. Not because Gen Z is lazy, not because avocado toast destroyed civilization, but because wages and asset prices stopped growing at the same speed a long time ago, and until more people understand that clearly, they'll keep blaming themselves for a system that was redesigned without them noticing. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more calm, reality-based financial analysis.